Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Hammer Radio Basics Live, Season 4, Episode 10, Hammer Radio News and Updates, March 4th, 2026. Hope everyone is doing well today. It came out March 24th, so sorry about that. But we're already into March and getting closer to Hamvention in Dayton in May. That's coming up real soon. So be on the lookout for that. Also, you should probably be on the lookout, too. I would imagine that HRO sends out its spring catalog around this time, and so does DX Engineering as well, although I'm not familiar with their cycles as far as their catalogs are concerned, but be on the lookout for those as well. It's always good to get that in the mail. It's like when you hear audible groans from your spouse when she sees that coming in the mail. So yeah, and there's always a good reason for that. So we'll also let you guys know I received a lot of positive reaction to my top 10 HTs. That's done. Got a lot of great comments on that. So we're going to be kind of continuing that for the foreseeable future, and we'll get to ours in just a minute. Just want to see who. Let's see. Cooley is here. Andy is here. Good deal. Glad to see you guys this afternoon. We're going to kind of get started here, and what I thought I wanted to go ahead and do is go ahead and we'll get my presentation going here. Let's go ahead and get this up on the screen. Okay. We're going to be looking at the top 10 HF transceivers under $2,000 that are 100 watt. This is not QRP at all. There's going to be no quote unquote no QRP radios in this here. That was my criteria, and I wanted to try to narrow it down to like 2,000 and under, although I think one of these actually goes over 2,000. Some of the pricing had it down under 2,000, but I'll let you know when we get to that one. But all these are new. These are all currently manufactured and available right now. You don't have to go out to eBay to get them, which is real nice. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started with this here. Now, the first one here is, this seems to be a real staple for a lot of people who have just gotten their license and want to get their first HF rig, especially those that have gotten their general. It's the Yaesu FT-710 field. It also comes with a speaker as well too. The price on that right now is $999.95, just under $1,000. Compact, direct sampling, SDR covering HF 6 meters with excellent dynamic range, includes real-time spectrum scope, built-in auto tuner, advanced DSP filtering, and strong QRM rejection. Outstanding performance per dollar choice. And it really is. You do get a lot of bang for your buck in this. The waterfall display is kind of interesting. I really kind of prefer the ones on Icom, but it works. It's just something that you have to get used to, and it's personal preference kind of a thing. The menu system on this is actually surprising. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, because I know if you look at some other Yaesu radios, and we'll talk about here in a minute, their menu systems can drive a person to drink. They're just absolutely, positively crazy. But this is a good radio. It's dependable. You can usually find it right around $1,000 out at the major three out there: HRO, DX Engineering, and Gigaparts. So, and a lot of people do get this, and they seem to be pleased with it. And it's not as complicated to use as some other radios. So this radio has a lot going for it. Now here's probably the staple for me of HF transceivers under $2,000. It's the Icom IC-7300. We just know that they came out with a Mark II, but we're going to talk about the 7300 in and of itself right now. And with rebates, you can probably get it right under $1,000. Some will even get it down to $899, I think. So it's plentiful. It's out there. It's at all the major outlets. This is just a very dependable, solid radio. The menu system is almost a carbon copy of that on the IC-705. So if you know the 705, you know the menu system here on the 7300. There's really kind of there's no learning curve as far as that's concerned. We'll go over what it says here: direct RF sampling, SDR with large color touchscreen and waterfall display, built-in automatic antenna tuner and USB audio interface for digital modes. Very user-friendly and widely considered the benchmark mid-range HF radio. And it is. The menu system on this is so easy. It's so intuitive, like the 705. It's so easy to pick this up and learn it. And to me, the only thing I would say is if you were looking to hook up a screen to this, you probably want to go for the Mark II because it does have that HDMI port, and the Mark II also does have that CW display CW on the front, so you get to read that in real time, which is really nice, especially for those of us that don't know CW. I think it does great. Oh wow, okay, yeah, thanks, Mike. Yeah, you're probably right. That's a real wow. That's a real kicker as well. We know none of us like to see prices go up. So if you were thinking about getting a Yaesu in particular, as Mike pointed out, and thank you for bringing that up, I think that's something you want to take advantage of right now. Go out there and get that before these prices go up. And in some instances, they could go up a couple of $100, which is, it's a significant amount of money. So if you're close to getting one, go ahead and pull the trigger and get one. That's some great advice. And I would think the same thing is going to be happening with Icom as well, because they're both made in Japan and the tariffs going on over in Japan as well too. So just stay tuned for all that. But no, everybody who has ever used this radio has had nothing but praise for it. It works really well. It does have the built-in tuner. It's not the best, but it does work, and it does get you to where you need to be. And like I said, it's so easy to use, and I really love the waterfall display on here. I can't say enough nice things about it. So the next one is the Yaesu FT-DX10, and it's a lot like the first radio that we looked at. It's a hybrid SDR with superior close-in dynamic range for DX and contesting. Advanced roofing filters, responsive touch display, and excellent receiver performance in crowded band conditions. There's a lot to be said, especially if you're trying to get into, if you're trying to call into a park and there's a pileup, and these are the kind of radios that you want. If you're the kind of ham that ends up dealing in a lot of pileups, either trying to call into one or filtering through one, this is the kind of radio that would be absolutely ideal for you. MW1E, welcome. Thank you for stopping by this afternoon. Mike, yeah, I would see why. Absolutely. That's a, and thank you for bringing that up. That's fantastic. This is a good radio. It's a little more on the pricey side. It's a little, it's closer to about $1,400, $1,500. And they are out there. They are available. But remember, again, if this is something that you're considering, you definitely want to go out there now and look at purchasing one of these, because these prices are going to be going up, and you don't want to get caught having to pay another couple of $100 because of that. So let's go ahead and move on to number 4 here. Number 4 is the FT-991A. Now, what makes this radio unique is it covers all bands and all modes, HF through UHF. Includes C4 FM, digital voice, real-time spectrum scope, and internal automatic tuner, ideal single radio shack solution. And it is. If you're looking for everything at one stop, this is it. It offers everything here. It's 100 watts, of course. There have been some not so nice comments about this, I think, from the filtering type of aspect. So beware of that. And as always, go out there and read the comments out there. Like if you go out to, especially DX Engineering is real good. There's a lot of user feedback out there. There's some on Gigaparts, but I find the most I've seen out there as far as comments are concerned regarding products is out on DX Engineering. And you want to go out there and read through these because everybody's user experience is different. And from several of the ones that I mentioned, this is a good radio, but it does have some of those. It does have some concerns, and you want to go out there and get yourself familiar with those. And if this is something that you can live with, in order to have all bands in one radio, then by all means go ahead and do that. Now, and again, if this has been on your list and you've done the research and this is something that you want, I would go ahead and pull the trigger now so you can avoid that price increase that's definitely going to be coming up here. So this is the Icom IC-7100. This is a radio, is a jack of all transceivers, a jack of all trades. You can mount this in your car, which a lot of people do. You can have it as a home, as a base station, which a lot of people do. And I know several who have one in their car and one at their base station. It's easy to use. The menu system isn't as intuitive as a 7300, but it does work. We were hoping that when Icom did the update, that they would update some things, like maybe to a touchscreen, which they did not, maybe to a color screen, which they did not. And I talked to Ray Novak a little bit about that a couple of years ago when I went to Hamcation, and he said, he said they hear that a lot about this radio in particular, and he said they're really kind of driven to keep this at a certain price point. Now, this used to be about $799. It's $1,099 right now out there. So be wary of the price. You can get some good deals. There's some good deals on this going out there. This is a very dependable radio. It works really well. It has a USB sound card in it. And that detachable control head, it makes all the difference in the world as far as mounting this in your vehicle. Just make sure that you get a cable that's long enough that's going to reach from the head back to the unit. That's kind of huge right there. It really is a perfect option for either from home or from your vehicle. It works really well. You get it set up and running, you'll be making contacts in no time. Okay. Yaesu FT-891. I don't know anybody that hasn't heard of this radio. It really is. It's probably the ultimate HF portable radio. It does everything. It does it well. My only drawback and my only, it has a strong receiver performance. It has effective DSP noise reduction. You do need to get an external tuner. That's one caveat with this radio. But of course, if you go out there and, you tune your antennas right, you probably don't need that. If you get enough radios out there and you get your SWR down 1-to-1 or so, don't need a tuner. But the big thing with this radio, and it's something that even people who really have used and love this radio, is the menu system. It is so deep. It is so complex. The price on this radio has always been right. All right. They've really, Yaesu's done a great job as far as that's concerned. And, my only thing is, and I asked John Kruk about this as well. I sent him a quick message about it, and he said, yeah, they've been looking at trying to maybe possibly improve this, but they have so much on the drawing board right now. It's not funny. But I think this would probably be due for a nice refresh right here. Maybe a little bit of a bigger screen, less complex menus, because there's a lot of things you have to set each and every time, and it's a real pain in the rear to do that. So, but a lot of things are preset as well, so you don't have to do too much. But you got to remember that. And having one of those cheat sheets, those guides that you can get out at HRO or DX Engineering or Gigaparts, that's a lifesaver with this radio. That's an absolute total must. It works really well. When you do get it set up and running, it does work very, very well. And it does have a loud signal. So something that's on your list, I would go ahead and get it again, because those prices are going to be going up on these radios here, guys. All right. Kind of switching gears here as far as manufacturers are concerned. This is the Kenwood TS590SG. And the first thing that strikes you about this is there's no waterfall display on it. All right. Because I know where all of us are kind of getting, on a transceiver. Oh, I want to see my waterfall displays. And with the Yaesus and the Icom 7300 have it, This one does not. It's high performance HF 6-meter transceiver, known for excellent receiver dynamic range, advanced IFDSP processing, configurable filtering, and clean transit audio. Great for serious DX operators. And it is. It works. It works really well. It's again. It's a little bit more pricey because it's closer to $2,000, and in some places you're probably going to go over that. But you have to weigh the pros and the cons of this. This has had good write-ups over the years. It does take some time to learn it because, again, it's not, you don't have that the waterfall effect right here. So, you kind of got to be one of those who are really kind of, you go out, you use your ham clock, and you get your information out there about solar activity, what bands are active that day. You'll know where to go. So you're not hunting in the dark. And I think that's it's especially true for radios like this or transceivers like this, because you really, Andy, yeah, it is, Andy. It's a fantastic radio. It really is. It's just, it's on the pricier side, and it's one of these ones. There is a little bit of a learning curve with this. So, I'm not going to lie. It's one of these ones, but it has had really very few, if any, negative reviews on this. Again, it's kind of on the pricier side as far as radios are concerned, but all in all, it's a good one. All right. Now, this is about as basic as you can get, the Icom IC-718. It's at a wonderful price. It's $859. It's out there and available on DX Engineering. It's a classic HF only 100-watt transceiver. It has very simple controls on it, and it's a nice rugged design. It's an analog interface, of course, on there with and it does have DSP noise reduction. It's a perfect kind of entry-level HF radio for people. It has enough information to get you going and get you started on that. And again, this is the kind of radio you would need to go out there and know what bands are active that day to be able to use a radio like this. There is a learning curve for this. So, again, it is an older model, but it's still available new, which is very interesting. They've kept this going because it's been a good seller through the years for Icom. They haven't said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of a thing. And, they said, why not? And it's tried, it's true. It gives you some relevant information on the panel up there. And again, it's very simple and easy to operate. Let's go here to number 9, the FT-DX101D. Now, more often than not, this is over $2,000. I just want to kind of lead things in on this one. Okay. Now, this is kind of like a Mac Daddy here for of the transceivers under 2,000. It had hybrid SDR architecture, strong dynamic range, advanced filtering, premium receiver performance, and robust construction for demanding operators. And this is on a lower scale, like under $5,000 and under. This is probably one of the best ones that you can get from Yaesu. And again, that price is definitely going to be probably over $2,000 right now. I did go out there and look, and it is. And again, with radios like this is something, if you're considering it, you probably want to go ahead and check that out and get it before that price goes up, because the higher in dollar amount that you go on a lot of these radios, the more it's going to end up costing you. So I would suggest, if this is something that you're interested in, go ahead out there, check it out, and get it so you don't have to pay that price increase. Now, one thing with this radio, again, there is a lot on this radio. It does a lot, and there is a learning curve on it. So be aware of that. Just, Cooley, I don't know. I did not look that up. It may be. I'm not 100% sure if it's 200 watts or not, but I will definitely check on that. I think it might be. I think I did read something on that. So we'll stay tuned. I'll definitely let you know. Now, last but not least, and this was real interesting because I had to use a chat GPT and to go out there and assemble this list for me, because I could go out there, I could pick 10 out there, but I wanted to get the 10 best that are under, $2,000. And it was real interesting that it came up with the FTX1 Optima, because, as when you put the head and the base unit together, it is a full-fledged HF 100-watt radio here, okay? It does have a touchscreen, which is real nice, DSP filtering. It had some quirks when it came out. I will definitely say that. And I know, for example, Mike from Ham Radio Tube, he traded his in. He got a 7300 Mark II instead. He said, and he listed, Mike had several issues with his, and and it does happen with these kind of radios. But this is a very interesting choice as a base unit for your home operations. And I look at something like this, which is nice because it's versatile, because you can go ahead and do QRP with it and just take the head out and do POTA with it if you want to, which is real nice. Or you can take the whole setup with you and go out there at 100 watts instead of doing QRP, which is nice. But the thing with this is $1,800. I can get a lot of the rigs that we talked about, the transceivers here, are way under that amount, because you're kind of getting closer to the $2,000 ballpark range here. Let me get my words out correctly here. So this this is what they came up with, and they're right. Technically, I can't argue with them as far as it being, it's an HF radio, it's 100 watts, and it's under $2,000. So they followed my instructions and my prompts. So kudos to them for that. But no, this is on the list, and if this is something you want, if you're interested in it also for the QRP option as well, and you don't have something like a 705, this would be an ideal kind of a solution for you, because you can hook it up to your home and have a full 100-watt radio, or you can take that on the field, have a QRP radio as well. You have versatile options with this. Just be known, Yaesu did take care of a number of things after this first came out, but Mike listed some things that he has some concerns with, and you can check his channel out because he talks a little bit about why he ended up trading that in. He really likes the 7300 Mark II. So, and that's going to be something I'm going to spend some time on as well lately. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm having some fun putting these together. ChatGPT has really helped me because there's so many options and so many things to choose from. And if I give it enough of a criteria, it meets my criteria. And I go through here and try to verify most, if not all, this information that I'm sending you guys is correct. So hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. Thank you so much for stopping by today. Cooley, Andy, Anonymous here, Mike. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it. As always, guys, it's a great day to make a QSO. 7 3s, everybody. Have a great rest of your evening.